In completing our worksheet for problem 15-34 using the reciprocal method, we're going to have to make use of Excel's iteration capacity. The first thing to do is go ahead and build your worksheet calculating your allocation percentages for each one of the departments and pick up your direct costs. Then let's go ahead and allocate our costs. To begin with, let's just put in a number for infotech. And let's say that we're going to allocate out $2,500 in cost. This is just going to allow us to see some numbers popping up on our worksheet. That $2,500 in cost will be allocated 20% to the HR department. Of that $2,500 in cost, 50% will be allocated to the clothing department. And finally, 30% of the cost will be allocated to the shoes department. And again, we can sum up that entire row to be sure that the row does indeed sum to 0. So we've allocated out all of that cost. For the cost from the HR department, again, let's put in a number. Let's put in negative $1,500 to start with. Now let's go ahead and put in our allocations. Of that $1,500 in cost, 20% will go to the Human Resources Department. Of that $1,500 in cost, 60% will go allocated to the Clothing Department. And finally, of that cost, 30%, or rather 20%, will be allocated to the Shoes Department. And again, we can make sure that our row sums to 0. Now, we need to put in a formula for the cost allocated from the Infotech department and also from the HR department. The cost that we're going to allocate out from the Information Technology department is equal to its direct cost and any cost that has been allocated in from HR. And there's our formula. Now we're going to end up with a circular reference when we put a similar formula in for the HR department. Our cost that we're going to allocate out will be the direct cost of the HR department, the 1,000, and any cost coming from the Information Technology department. And this is where I get a pop-up message saying that there's a circular reference, that it can't calculate one number because it's dependent upon another. We can close down our help buttons here, and what we're going to need to do is turn on the iterations options in Excel. Go to the Office button, come down to Excel Options, Formulas, enable iterative calculations, set the iterations, say at 100, and then hit OK. Now we have a true solution. This essentially solves those simultaneous equations that we would have needed to set up to calculate the cost that was going to be total cost for both the Information Technology department and the HR department.